Hello everyone, I'm back with another review. Today I will be reviewing the New River Boots Quade Derby. The Quade Derby is lasted over the QIV Last and is hand stitched down and is on a Outsole Coir, so coconut fiber, rubber full sole, and heel with no leather stack, customized by myself. Well, the specs were chosen by me, and it is built out of a Horween baseball glove leather sourced from Tannery Row. Here's the other one right here. These are made by a man named Dave out of West Virginia, United States. These are handmade, one man, and he does this at his home as a nighttime hobby, if I remember correctly. He basically can't sleep, as he said on the Stitch Down podcast with Dave from Old Speed, and that's when he mostly works on his products. They are hand stitched down, double row, so he does not use a machine to make the stitch down. He does it by hand. He even carves a little channel into the rubber outsole so that the stitches don't pop through when you're wearing them down, which happens on a lot of footwear, a lot of welted, stitched footwear. And these are beautiful shoes. I always loved the Viberg 145 Oxford. And I really enjoyed the one done with Franklin and Poe, if I remember correctly, done on the Horween crust leather. And the marketing ads really inspired me to get a boot shoe, as Ben Robinson from Stitch Down would say. A shoe made with the sole of a boot. You know, it's a heavy product. This is a hefty piece of footwear. It's got a thick leather heel counter. It's got a leather toe puff, brogued cap toe, stitch down construction. It's got a nice, hefty leather midsole. This Outsole Coir, C-O-I-R, rubber outsole is really heavy. It makes this a hefty boot. Heavier than my other New River boots, which is an actual boot, my Barksdale boot, which is right there. This is heavier. And it's a combination because of the rubber outsole used. This one has day-night and is on a Horween Aspen horse front. And this is on the baseball glove leather by Horween. This is a bit of a rambling video, but it's got 5 brass eyelets. I don't really care for speed hooks. It's got a matching tongue. It's got this nice hand-stitched, like baseball glove, baseball stitching to connect. It's got a leather insole, and it's a pretty simple product besides that. The Horween baseball glove leather really interested me. Before I even knew that Wolverine and Rawlings did a collab using Horween's baseball glove leather, this leather, the Horween X baseball glove, really fascinated me on the Tannery Row website. Here's the other one, I'll just show us off. I was looking for a nice, thick, robust tan leather for a shoe to work with Dave, and I had been going through the concept of using a natural Horween Chrome XL to really get that Viberg 145 aesthetic that I was thinking of, but I don't know why. Every time I want to make a Chrome XL MTO'd piece of footwear, I back away and choose something else. I don't know if it's because of fear out of the Horween Chrome XL lottery or what. But as I was looking through the Tannery Row website, I came across the baseball glove leather. And I love baseball gloves. I'm not a baseball fan, let it be clear. I'm not the biggest sports fan. I appreciate them, and out of all sports, baseball is probably the most American sport. And I grew up in New Jersey with a lot of boys my age playing baseball. And so, of course, I gave it a shot. I played in the park with my friends constantly, and one of the things I loved was their baseball gloves. And their father's baseball gloves. They were worn and supple, and they looked so beautiful. And who doesn't love a well-worn baseball mitt? That glove is a beautiful material. It's supple. It's thick. It's durable. And I knew then that would be a very fascinating leather for a piece of footwear. And then I came across the Wolverine Rawlings collab, and it's a thing. People have done it, even if only experimentally. And so I asked Dave if we could do this, and he said sure, and he got it. And it's an awesome leather. It's thick. I don't really know how to describe it. I believe it's like 2.5 millimeters. Like there's the tongue. It's a full chrome tanned leather according to Tannery Row. And so you can even see, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but you might be able to. There's a blue core to the center. Now the rough out is, tan, but the core of the leather is blue from the chrome tanning process. Chrome tanned chrome tanned leather has a blue core inside from the chromium salts. Veg tan, even combo tans will not have that blue core. During the tanning process, there's a blue phase, and this maintains that blue. I'm no expert on leather tanning, so some of my details probably wrong. But that blue core is present throughout all of the open edges of the of the shoe. Even on the stitch down, you can see some of the blue coming through. And that'll darken over time. I mean, I've worn these, I don't know how long it'll take to darken, as I've worn these quite a bit, which is surprising given how perfect the rolls and creases are on this. I mean, that baseball glove leather is incredible. I've worn this stuck in the rain for several hours when on vacation in Colonial Williamsburg. And it got dark, but it dried up and looks great. This leather's thickness is something to behold. I mean, look at that. Beautiful creasing and rolling. I mean, it's actually quite stunning. I'm very interested in having a boot made from this leather. Maybe a more simple derby boot pattern, which basically means it won't have an exterior heel counter cover. It would be a single panel and then just the vamp. That could be a very cool look for the baseball glove leather, especially to show off how this crease roll looks on the ankles, as if anybody who knows me and my love for footwear knows that I absolutely love ankle creasing. This is a pair of blackjack cowboy boots. Cowboy boots really show off, and shafted laceless boots specifically, but any shafted piece of footwear will show off these ankle creases. Love that. Love that so much. Love that so much. And I think this leather would do really well there. Now, the ordering process is pretty simple. You can contact him on Instagram, New River Boots, and DM him there. Or if you're on the Stitch Down Premium Discord, he is available there as well as at New River Boots. And you can DM him to get on his list. His list takes about, from when I went on about last year or the year before. It was about an 8-month wait before it was my turn, and he builds in batches. And so he does at any given point 4 pairs, 4 or 5 maybe. And it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to complete your pair. And you don't pay until your batch comes up. And then that's when he orders all the leather. That's when he gets all the materials, like this Dr. Soul Outsole. He ordered. He did not have this in stock, so he ordered it. And that's when he gets all his materials needed, and then away he goes. And takes, once it's your turn, 3 to 4 weeks for the piece of footwear to finish. And after that, you pay the final deposit, and away it goes. Now, pricing for custom stuff is always a little hard to gauge or give advice to the average person who's watching these videos, because it's custom, right? So what you add to your product your makeup will change the total cost. Now, the base price at the time that I entered his list was $800. You pay half down, $400, then half down at the end, another. Your leather choice could increase that price, right? It just depends. And honestly, it's a great system. You know, you can get in line, wait the months, and then you only have to pay when it's your turn. And if you become a repeat customer, you can skip the line. So for my first pair, which are these boots down here, I waited the 8 months. Let me just... These ones right here. This is the Barksdale boot, his service-ish boot pattern. I got the triple rivet design, 9 eyelets. Yeah, cool. This one, about the 8 months to get on his list, to get from his list to my turn in the batch. But for the Quade Derbies, since I was a repeat customer, I got on a bit faster. I only had to wait maybe 2 months before it was my turn, and a slot even opened up, so I was able to jump a bit sooner. As he said on his Stitch Down podcast episode, he likes to reward repeat customers. He knows they will be a reliable customer, and he won't have to worry about them ghosting him. And so he's willing to let them jump ahead. And that is a good incentive, as in the MTO footwear world, there is a scourge of long lead times. One infamous example is Board On. This is not taking a shot at them, but this is a known thing, that their lead times have ballooned. Originally, they were 3 to 4 months, and now some people have been getting their stuff in the double digits. Someone on the Stitch Down Discord waited 17 months before his boots arrived. That's crazy. And imagine if you're a repeat customer. You might have to wait another 17 months. Fortis is another example. I mean, I quite enjoy the engineers I was wearing for the Thunderdome, but it's not very fair for customers to order, be quoted, and then, especially if they're a repeat customer, wait a long time. And so I think the process, and have their money in limbo. And so that's why I really enjoyed the process that Dave at New River implemented, where you get on his list, and then when it's your turn to be built, you pay. And then you pay when you ship. And if you're a repeat customer, he rewards that loyalty by letting you jump line a little bit. This is true with other makers as well. One other example I can think of is Nathan Florsheim. I have a pair of his shoes right here. I'm going to review at another point. I've only worn them 2 times, so I don't feel comfortable making a really good review yet. But that rewarding of repeat customers is really great for small makers. It incentivizes you to come back and know that you'll be treated right. And in this community, there have been a lot of people who get burned by long wait times and a seeming lack of appreciation for repeat customers. And so New River Dave is doing a great job appreciating his customers. And I very much want to promote his products. They're quality work. Absolutely quality work. Especially if you have larger, more meaty feet, I'd say. I don't have very meaty feet, right? I'm a 9.5D, both heel to ball and heel to toe. By the way, sizing is true to size on New River. True to size. Should have mentioned that earlier. If you're a 9.5D like me, get 9.5D. Anyways, I think if you're an E-width, or at least a higher volume or meatier footed person, you'll really like the QIV Last. It's a modified work shoe last. He just removed some of the toe bump and made it more casual, less Iron Ranger number 8 last bump, more sleek, right? My only problem with this last is that it is a bit too high volume down here for my foot. My foot has a volume spike of a saddle bone, a very slight saddle bone bump that is around here on any given shoe. On laceless footwear like boots, it's right where the throat. It'll occur right where the throat of the boot happens at the instep. You can even see, might even see that my saddle bone kind of pushes it out here. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah. Some makers can accommodate. Nathan Florsheim's MTM, made to measure last boot, lasting, made it work. He was able to accommodate. It was great. I don't expect every maker to be able to do that. And that's fine. But because my high volume is here, but then goes back to a normal volume, maybe even a low volume down here, this last is not perfect for me. And that's okay. Not every last works for every person. And that's something everyone who gets in this will have to accept, is that sometimes the last will not work. And that's fine. You're just going to have to move on, right? So, how do I know this? Right here. You can see a little crease here. That is not a fault of New River, Dave. That's just an unfortunate reality I have to live with. It's very prominent. It's mitigated a bit on this because the leather is so stiff and thick that it can hold itself up, but it's very prominent, or at least much more prominent, on my Barksdale boot. There it is. You see that? This leather is thin. It's supple. It sags, and it's beautiful because of that. But when a shoe or boot sags here, it can mean one of two things. From my gathered knowledge, now there are people who will probably know more than me about this and might correct me and chime off if you know more in the comments. But from what I've gathered from boot makers like Nathan Florsheim and other YouTube experts, so to speak, like Jeremiah Craig, a crease here can either mean a shoe is too wide or too high volumed. The leather is not sitting on your foot exactly where it needs to, and so if it's too high volume, it sags, or if it's too wide, it bends in because there's nothing holding it when it bends, so it bends in. Specifically there, where the ball of your foot bends strongest, at your big toe. I know about the volume aspect from Nathan Florsheim. As the shoes he made me on Everywhere is perfect except it's just a smidge high right at the ball. And that's a reality of long distance made to measure. Next time we have a pair of shoes made together, he's going to reduce it there. It's only on the right shoe, and it's barely noticeable. I just noticed it. But the left shoe, it doesn't do that. With this, I believe it is a volume issue, as this Last actually hugs the width of my feet very well. It's a proper fit in the width. It just feels a little bit higher in the vertical. And so there's a slight crease here, more prominent on the Barksdale boot in the softer Aspen leather. Now, he might be able to accommodate for this. I am not sure if Dave is willing to modify his Lasts at all. I kind of jumped the gun on both of these and bought them without knowing that would happen. That's fine. No big deal. I'm not really bothered by it. That's something as well you might have to get used to, owning these things, that there might be mistakes that come up in your shoe. Might be a little too high volume, might be a little too low volume, but if you are okay with it and acknowledge that that's just a reality, that's fine. Not every shoe is going to fit perfectly, even if that's the goal. It's the name of the game. I have shoes that fit perfect. I have shoes that fit almost perfect. I have removed shoes that don't fit perfect. Almost is good. Perfect is great. Definitely doesn't fit perfect. I don't need it. But that's not a flaw in the boot at all, or the shoe. It's just the reality of sizing. So if you notice that, that's the reason. These shoes are great. They're going to take a little bit longer to break in because of the thick outsole and stiff midsole and stiff but firm leather upper. This thing will age beautifully, I can tell. If you've ever seen an aged baseball glove, they're astonishing. They feel amazing. And this will get that way. I mean, there's already some dark spots coming in from patina. And like right there at the eyelets. It's just going to look beautiful. This goes well with blue jeans. Really blue jeans because of how orange it looks. How tannish orange. Not close to an Oro Legacy from SB Foot, but it's a very tan leather. It's more like the skin of an orange in person, like an orange peel, but like a slightly muted orange peel in person. Almost a peachy look. The camera makes it more iridescent than it is in person. It's much matter in person. Over camera, though, it's very shiny. I'm not sure why that happens. Maybe it's the oils in the chrome tanning process. But this is a phenomenal shoe. I highly recommend buying from New River Boots. And I think you're going to be blown away. Yeah. If you've got the fit, you're good. Thanks for checking out my video. See you next time.